Jerry Rice is widely considered as the greatest player in NFL history, and he holds a number of perceivably unbreakable records. But what if I told you that there was a player in the game today who was on pace to break his 22,895 career receiving yards?
Who's that Pokemon?
That man is Justin Jefferson, and he might just be the man who one day passes the GOAT. Justin Jefferson has become one of the most dominant players in the league since his rookie year in 2020. After he was drafted, there were questions about how he would adjust due to the condensed offseason that the pandemic caused. None of it mattered. He showed out in year one by breaking the rookie receiving yards record and followed up that performance by amassing the most receiving yards in a player's first 2 and 3 seasons. Today, Jefferson is 23 years old, 3 years into his career, and already has 4,825 yards. But where does that stack up with the leaders on the all-time career receiving yards list? Throughout the first 3 seasons of their careers, Jerry Rice had 3,575 yards, Larry Fitzgerald had 3,135 yards, T.O. had 2,553 yards, and Randy Moss had 4,163 yards. Julio Jones, who's number 16 on the all-time list, and the highest current active player, had 2,737 yards through his first 3 seasons. Jefferson has made a huge jump on his competition in the opening stages of his career, and this has set him up on a path where he could realistically crack the top 5 for all-time receiving yards by the time that he's 29 or 30 years old. The average age of the receivers in the top 10 at retirement was 37.2 years old. It's no surprise that you have to be somewhat of an Iron Man to get to that point on the list. But with Justin Jefferson's history of solid health, the protection for receivers in the modern game, and constant advancement in sports medicine, 37 could be a breeze. Throughout his first 3 seasons, he's yet to miss a game, and he's only had minor injuries: an ankle sprain, an AC joint sprain, and a mild case of turf toe. In football, soft tissue injuries are usually the nagging ones that will make you miss multiple games in a season, or even linger into following seasons. Keenan Allen has dealt with soft tissue injuries his whole career, and they've had a major impact on his ability to consistently produce. Fortunately for Jefferson, he has no such issues, and Jerry Rice had very few of them himself. He missed 0 games in his first 11 seasons, and only 17 across his entire 20-season career, 14 due to a torn ACL, and 3 because of the NFL strike. There are a lot of similarities between the GOAT and Justin Jefferson when it comes to their stature and style of play. Justin Jefferson stands 6'1 1/4", 200 pounds, and Jerry Rice was 6'2", 200 in his playing days. Their commonly shared traits are that they make plays when it matters most. They catch everything that comes their way and have an uncanny ability to separate at the line of scrimmage and at the top of the route. They both have great speed after the catch, but aren't really known as speed demons. And they both can make the toughest of catches, but aren't really known as possession receivers. Their precise route running and knowledge of the game fuels them and is so refined that they don't need to be physical presences like Terrell Owens and Randy Moss, or track stars like Tyreek Hill. And look, I don't want anyone here thinking that I'm arguing that Jerry Rice and Justin Jefferson aren't fast or strong. They obviously are, but neither of them are genetic freaks or track stars relative to the other talent in the NFL. They use their knowledge of the game and spatial awareness to elude defenders. If this isn't true, then you tell me how Jerry Rice had 1,211 yards at age 40. Jerry Rice ran a 4.7 at 21 years old, and I doubt that 20 years later he was running much faster than that. This style of play is equivalent to an elite pocket passer who can play for 20 years because his efficiency and productivity isn't tied to his athleticism. A lot of younger people don't understand how dominant Jerry Rice was in the middle of his career. Even though he had a slow-ish start relative to some of the people on the top 10 yards list, he made up for it in his prime. From age 27 to 33, Rice recorded 10,242 yards and averaged over 1,400 yards per season. After those 7 seasons, he was still dominant and recorded 4 more 1,000-yard seasons. Most of the guys on the top 10 list had a similar back third of their career. They became the number 2 or 3 option on a different team and put up 500 to 800 yards per season. What's left to be determined, though, is when Justin Jefferson will enter his prime and when he'll exit exit it. Again, he's only 23 years old. If he played till he was 37, that would mean that he has another 14 seasons left to play. Most receivers don't hit their prime until they're 25. That's when they hit their athletic prime and when they start getting a more nuanced understanding of NFL defenses and route running. With Jefferson averaging 1,600 yards per season through his first 3 years, who knows what he'll be averaging between ages 25 and 30. Let's say he continues on that trend of 1,600 yards per year. By age 30, he'd be third on the all-time receiving yards list. And if he played another 6 to 7 years after that, at a lower level of dominance, of course, he could seriously be knocking on Jerry Rice's door for the record. This is all speculation, of course, and who knows, he could pull a Megatron and retire in his prime. He could also get caught in a rebuild depending on what he does this offseason or when Kirk Cousins retires, but I'm not betting against him. Justin Jefferson won't have off-field issues like Randy Moss, T.O., and Antonio Brown. He's known to be a great teammate and he comes from a solid family. More importantly, he has a chip on his shoulder. Constantly out to prove himself ever since being labeled a 2-star recruit when he was coming out of high school. It's unlikely that Jefferson has the same fire that Jerry Rice did, but who does? That's a once-in-a-lifetime work ethic, only rivaled by people like Tom Brady. But because of his history of good health, the stellar start to his career, the extra game per season, and his all-around ability as a receiver, we could be crowning a new all-time yardage leader in 2037. I'd like and save this video if I were you, so you can come back and tell me that I'm wrong if the time comes. But I'm banking on Justin Jefferson's career. He might be the second coming. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. Please subscribe, like, comment, share this with someone else. Let me know why I'm wrong, and stay tuned for the next video. Got more great stuff coming. Thank you so much.